Shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, and a hearty shalom to the prophets of that body. Okay, and shalom to the 144,001 the elect men, women, and children. Okay, the Israelites, who are the bulk thereof in ground zero America, as well as scattered to the four corners of the earth, of course, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. But the bulk are, as Elder Malcolm would say, don't get it twisted, are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. Then you got Israelite foreigners like myself that are scattered, that have the same lineage, but have been scattered to the four corners of the earth, because we are everywhere. All right? Okay, before I go into a tangent and go into a different direction, I want to focus on what's been happening in the last 24 hours. All right? Now, tsunami waves reached Hawaii following a massive earthquake off Russia's coast. Now, when I first read that, in my mind, right? I mean, I read it last night, of course, but I was in like halfway falling asleep, and obviously, you got to. Okay, there I start going into a tangent again. Salakia. All right. When I read the title, in my mind was Rocky Four. Is it Rocky Four? Yeah, Rocky Four. Is it Ivan Drago and Sylvester Stallone? Russia, America, Russia. Then they became friends again for a little while or whatever. It softened the blown. The that sort of element of Russia and America beef was sort of, from what I remember, was, it wasn't sort of emphasized anymore. But now this Russia America beef, ultimately leading to World War III. But Russia and America are major players. They're probably the two most large land masses, not the largest, I'm saying. Well, Russia is huge, but they're fairly large countries that are going to go against each other, and they have their specific allies. And this earthquake, coming off Russia's coast, and those vibrations being felt all the way to America, or the islands surrounding America, and Hawaii is part of America, of course, is a spiritual symbol or a spiritual sign that the Lord is returning and World War III is around the corner. Okay? Because, like a boxing match, when you have a boxing match, you've got both fighters talking shit to each other, all the hoopla, they might even say something about each other's wives or girlfriends or whatever, or your wife's ugly or she's fat or whatever, or, your wife's been looking at me, nonsense that boxers say, whether it's acted out or real, whatever. But those are like the tremors, and all the hype around the fight. Those are like the tremors, if you want to think of it that way. Now, in this, and that's obviously a small thing. I'm just giving that as an analogy, right? But this is like is it a precursor? May I use that term? Or a prelude, or however you want to say it. It's like a warm-up set, it's like a warning that the Lord Yahweh Shai is returning. All right, these are the birth pains, the beginning of sorrows. All right, and and if you get like Google the amount of earthquakes and things that are happening around the world, and tsunamis and floods, is damn near every part of the world, man. All right. Okay, and a lot's going on. A lot is going on. A lot of people are miserable, and like a beautiful garment, which America, or the so-called white man's kingdom, was, which once was. Those stitches are coming undone, and now it's becoming a raggedy garment, and that garment is becoming raggedy. Now you want to use that crappy garment, to wipe off, I don't know, your windowsills outside or whatever, and then throw it away. Use it as a rag to clean things. That's what it's becoming. And these are the beginning of sorrows, and the birth pains and the tremors, and and it's also signifying, like, because if you look at it, What's mentioned here? Hawaii, Russia, America, and Russia. Okay, and that's spiritual because they're going to be the two major players when World War III kicks off. All right, and that's a Revelation 11:14. Let's go there first. So, like I'm just going to read one or two scriptures, then I'm going to play the new segment, then read some more scriptures. Revelation 11:14, King James Version. All right, this Bible is a living book, man, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. All right, it's very real. You MFers out there want to doubt that because the fool hath said there is no God. People talk nonsense, talk shit. And if you read the comments at the bottom of people saying things, what's going on in the world and World War III, blah, 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 and the draft and blah, all these things and the chariots and UFOs, people are making fun of it, man. People are making mockery of it. And all these MFers, especially you crackers out there, are going to suffer, man. And rightfully so. And you heathens too. And you 2/3 ninjas, man, you really pissed me off too. You think everything's a fucking joke, man. Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past. Woe means evil or bad times. Hence the term war, okay, comes out of that. Newspeak. The second woe is past. And behold, the third woe, war, cometh quickly. All right. And also, it's also mentioned in the book of Revelations, the First World War and the Second World War. All right. First World War was 1914 to 1918. The Second World War was, I believe, 1938 or 39 to 1945. Now, we're going to approach World War III. And this, that's why they always make that term. If there's a World War IV, it's going to be fought with sticks and stones. All right. Which basically means there ain't going to be no World War IV because everything is going to be fucking obliterated. All right. America's going to be no more. Okay. I mean, it's no more right now anyway. It's basically a shell of what it once was. All right. That's why a lot of people watch all these, old movies and old shows, which I do too. You know what I mean? But people are reminiscing, especially these crackers. Oh, I want to go back to the past. Oh, my childhood. Look at that, man. Look at the ice cream parlor. Look at this. All these things, man. This Richie Cunningham Happy Days shit. You crackers ain't gonna get that back. All right. You better enjoy your beers and lines of cocaine and these prostitutes that you're dealing with. Your dirty ass Edomite prostitute. Do all that shit because I tell you one thing, you ain't gonna get no comfort in the kingdom. Fucking no way, man. All right. One more. No, that one. I'm gonna go to. I think I've got the whole Matthew 24. Okay, I can go here. Matthew. Let's go to Matthew 21st, verse 4. It's all beautiful. Matthew 24, verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, so the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, is not a man that he should lie. All these boxes have to be ticked off in a specific timeline, in a specific fashion, all right, like a domino effect. Like you have different dominoes, you have like black dominoes, white dominoes, green dominoes, and they have to go in a certain fashion, how it's designed to go by the person that's designed the domino. You see dominoes fall and they fall in a certain pattern to create a certain, that it could be the letter, I don't know, M or the number 7 or 777 or something. It could be like a green 7, then a blue 7, then a yellow 7, and it all falls in conjunction in a certain fashion. How the creator of the domino set wants it to fall, the same way Yahweh Shem Hashai wants everything to happen in a certain fashion. Hence the reason why the Lord is saying the end is not yet, but the end, the signs are there though. Okay, those birth pains are there. All right, those birth pains are there, and you can see it. All right, a lot of these, the whole world knows, but they can't put their finger on it. What's going on? They're hoping that the economy will bounce back and throw more money at their problems, and then hopefully things will go away. All right, verse 7: For nation shall rise against nation. All right, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Earthquake measure was at 8.8. 8 infinity, right? All right. And that's pretty damn strong. I believe the strongest is 10 on the Richter scale. And this is like, I think the earth, from what the news stated, the earthquake was underneath the sea, and the vibrations and the tsunami occurred from that. Which that huge wave. I mean, Russia's damn near miles away. Those vibrations were felt all the way down to Hawaii. It's the power of the Lord, man. Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? And it's the beginning. Ain't no going back in time. Ain't no, people trying to get all nostalgic. Ain't going back. You're not going to go back to the 80s no more, man. You're not going to go back. You ain't going to go back to the 70s no more. You can dress like that. You can watch the movies. You can hear the music. You're not going to go back there. This is it. Where is it? Here we are. Got so many pages open.
Now, you may have heard today about these tsunami warnings in various parts of the world. Well, countries around the Pacific Ocean appear to have been spared the worst after those warnings were
Copyright fair use 1976.
Downgraded following one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded. We're showing you some pictures now from the east coast of Japan. This is just north of Tokyo, and the undersea quake measured a massive 8.8 in magnitude. Let's take you through what has happened today. It struck off Russia's east coast just about midnight our time. This is the epicenter at the Kamchatka Peninsula. Waves between 3 and 4 meters high were recorded in some areas, and they could have been a lot higher. We'll be speaking to an expert about that later in the program. Earlier today, this is what the picture looked like. The red parts you can see here indicate tsunami warnings where they were given. So some islands in the Pacific here, Hawaii down the bottom of our map, and this is northern California on the west coast of the USA. And people living in the orange areas, you can see, were also told to keep away from the coast. Now, thankfully, now it looks a little different. These warnings have gone down to watch alerts, if you have a look at the key here. But parts of South America are bracing themselves for major waves. Our chief correspondent, Tessa Chapman, looks back on a day of drama.
I mean, that's quite spiritual as well, South America is expecting major waves. They're going to get the brunt of it, because the Lord is dealing with the house of Israel first, man, before they get to the heathen, And Northern Kingdom do the most vile shit, man. All that black magic, man, dancing around fucking dolls and statues and shit, and lighting these weird ass candles and shit, worshipping Caesar Borgia, the cracker, man, they do some foul shit, Our people are beautiful, spiritual, but they go take their direction, that's spirituality on the left hand side, man, Yeah, and I paused at 111 as well.
Kamchatka Krai in Russia's far east, the epicenter of the earthquake, and the power causes the land to crumble. In a hospital nearby, cancer surgeons were shaken by the force. Tsunami sirens activated, people moved to higher ground, anticipating the waves to follow, and they did. Sweeping away buildings, submerging this port. And yet in this sparsely populated area, Russian authorities have reported no injuries or deaths.
And don't you think this is going to affect the economy even further as well? The amounts of job losses, companies already closing down, I think the term they use in America, is it filing for Chapter 11? I don't know, something like that. Well, basically they're closing down, and this is going to be a further dent. Okay, tourism, the economy, people's jobs, and obviously the economy thrives on international trade, right? Which is also coming to a close. I mean, so many tariffs and stipulations that are being implemented on countries and shit like that. This is going to be a further knock into that, which is beautiful because, we want this MFA to fall quick time,
On, officials downgraded the warnings. But the impact was far-reaching. Some 2,000 miles away in Japan, alerts were triggered. Transport networks shut down, There were warnings of waves 10 feet high. Those that arrived were significantly smaller, but nearly 2 million people had been told to move inland or to find height for safety, like this fire station roof. I just grabbed what I could and walked here, this woman says. In Hawaii, too, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, planning for the worst, they hoped for the best, and ultimately, damage reported was superficial.
Good evening, aloha, and thank you for your patience.
Damage report.
Listen, me personally, I look at this water, man. That body of water there, how deep it is and what's in there, it's very, very overwhelming. The way the Lord Yahweh Shemeshah has created this world, man. It's just amazing. Salaki, I just had to add that, man. Let's go, let's keep going. Man, when those bombs hit, boy, those waves are going to be beyond 10 feet high. And Lord willing, the brothers in in Hawaii are okay. Our teachers over there, I think it's Prophet Gabar and the Northern Kingdom brother, man. Prophet said, Lord willing, they're okay.
Reported was superficial.
Good evening, aloha, and thank you for your patience.
This, the latest update.
Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has downgraded the forecast from a tsunami warning to a tsunami advisory. Those who have evacuated may safely return home based on county assessments and directives.
Back in Russia, this volcano, seen here erupting in 2021, has become active again because of the earthquake. But thankfully, despite the quake's magnitude, it's been less destructive than initially feared. The waves it caused will reach South America next, so countries there are bracing, but hoping they too will be spared the worst. Tessa Chapman, 5 News.
Okay, read that one. 1 second. Zephaniah 1 and 14. The great day of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, the mighty man, shall cry there bitterly. Verse 15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Verse 16, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Okay? Listen, man, a lot of you people, you wacky-tacky Christians, assume that the Lord is going to return, man, with flowers and shit. Hey, man, the Lord ain't returning like that. You're talking about the power of, listen, man, you're talking about the power of heaven and earth, the Most High Yahweh, Abanawa Yahweh, His only begotten Son. All right, as pissed off the hopeful elect feel, and sometimes they want to lash out. Obviously you don't lash out for no reason. I mean, you got to control your temper. You got to control your temperature. Obviously, you defend yourself. God, Lord forbid that you get into a situation. Obviously, you're not going to be no punchback for anybody. But you got to sometimes, what's the term used? You got to bite your tongue. Is it bite your tongue? Or you got to take the higher road or something. As they say. You got to control your anger, and the Lord will help you control it, man. But the Lord, and that because that anger, right? We get that from Yahweh Hashem Shai, the hopeful elect. And how much more is His Majesty Yahweh Shai feeling, man? He's aching, itching to come back and fuck this place up, man. All right. I sometimes think, man, just seeing the Lord on the chariot, bro, actually seeing His Majesty, man. Whew. I get goose pimples thinking about that. Can you imagine how mighty and powerful that scene would be? I mean, will be, not would be, will be. Slakia, man, I'm adding my own sort of feelings into it, man. But man, whew. You're talking about His Majesty, bro. Amazing, man. Scary and exciting at the same time. Whew. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as a travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You know, Esau, what they do is they give you the good news. They give you the news, and then they always try and put, like when you graze your knee as a child, and your mother like cleans up your knee or whatever, and she puts a plaster over it. Same thing, man. Esau trying to put plaster over everything. All right, there ain't gonna be no safety. The economy's not gonna get better. Things are gonna progress into the destruction of your world, so-called white man and the heathen nations. All right. And if you look at it, a lot of the countries that are being affected are the people that are, make a lot of money along with Esau, man. And these gooks are everywhere, man. China, Japan, or whatever. They make a lot of dough with Esau, man. They set up shop everywhere in all Jake neighborhoods. But anyway, I'm gonna keep digressing. But hey, the Lord is returning soon, man. The Lord is returning soon, and these are the signs. And it's only gonna get worse. All right, the elect, wherever they are across the four corners of the earth, blessings to them, and their families, blessings to them and their families, are going to be okay. The elect feel glee. The elect are happy. Shit, if it wasn't 6:46 a.m. in the morning, I'd be cracking open a beer. But we leave that to Friday night, Lord willing. Cracking open a beer. All right. It's only you 2/3 and you heathens, especially you honkies, you Edomites, that are feeling anguish and pain. And it's only going to get worse for you devils. But anyway, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakadash. All right. We're seeing the demise of this world, man, in real time. Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwame Ashwala, Shalom.